Hi friends, David here from Learn Stage Lighting, and today we are looking at the Obsidian Control Systems NS8. Let's take a look. People see this Obsidian Control Systems NS8, there's kind of two responses that people come up with, and I think it really is the case that this is one of those items that it either is something you need and that applies to you, or it's not. Okay, so the first thing people see is they go, hey, it's a PoE network switch with 8 ports. Why is it so expensive, right? The other response is, wow, it's a fully managed switch with a really healthy PoE budget. Wow, it's inexpensive. So the question is, how do people see this same box, the same device, and have such totally opposite reactions? I'm going to tell you in this video, show you all about the NS8, walk you through the features, and of course, if you need an NS8 or any other Obsidian gear, then Above AVL and Learn Stage Lighting Gear is the best place to get it. AboveAVL.com, LearnStageLightingGear.com, it's all the same, and we would love to help you. So, that being said, what is the NS8? Well, from a physical perspective, as we can see here, it is a network switch that has 6 ports on the front, 2 on the back, true 1 in and through, a fuse, a switch to turn off PoE on and off to the whole switch, which is super cool. Just if you need to quick power down your stuff or reset it, hey, nice and easy. And like all of the Obsidian gear, most of the nodes and whatnot, various mounting options, right? You can stick it on a shelf. You can use a clamp with it. You can use a clamp with a bigger bolt on it. You can, on the bottom, you've got the shelf, the DIN rail, and the wall mount abilities all within this. And in the box, you get some various accessories that allow you to do everything except the shelf, which is extra. What makes this different and what makes it interesting is how much you can do inside this network switch, how easy it is to do it. And we're going to talk about a few of the reasons why. Let's go ahead, we'll plug it in, and then we'll talk about it. So here I've just launched Netron CLU, and at the time of this recording, this software is still fairly new, the NS8 software, so the CLU kicks you out to the web browser a lot for configuration. But some of the things you'll want to see here is that, very simply, the NS8 will show up, you'll be able to change that IP address if it's not in the range of your PC, etc. And so that's super helpful, that's why we always love CLU. Then if we kick over to the web interface, like many other Netron products, there's a lot going on here. So you've got your presets, okay, where there are all these different presets. So I'm just going to load one here that's called Onyx SACN and Automatic 2.x. So we'll load it, okay. And then boom, I see it already on the switch behind me. So there's a couple of reasons why this is so stinking cool. So with this network switch, you have the ability to quickly and easily set up different VLANs and configure them. And the really cool thing about this is it allows you to separate network traffic in your entertainment network switch without really understanding the underlying networking and without having to be like an IT professional. And I think that's the biggest thing that trips people up in AV is whether you're doing shows, live production, whether you're in a church, doing installs, whenever it comes down to, you really need to do VLANs or tagging or things like that, I'm going to be honest, most of us, that's way over our heads. I understand enough to get by, but it's really a specialty that comes more and more into our industry, but is really hard to understand because a lot of the options that are out there and ways to do things really depend on your setup, and there's a lot of different ways to do things. So that being said, there's a few things about this that are really stinking awesome. The first is presets, because you just go in, and now I've got a switch where, these ports that are in teal here, and they're color-coded, they are for the SACN network. So I can come out of, say, my NX4 over there. Actually, I am. And it's all going through this right now. And I can have the SACN and the remote on 2 different networks in the same switch. So they're on different VLANs. They're virtual networks where my console data, my XNet is all happening here. My SACN's all happening here and on these 2 on the back. Okay, so really cool how that's able to be segmented. There's a lot more we can do in here though. So if we go ahead to our ports page, you're going to have access to all 8 ports here. You can name them, and you can set your VLAN group. So you can just set up all these different VLANs and be good to go. PoE can be on or off per port. That's cool. And then you can set whether it's regular PoE or plus, which allows for more wattage, and even set a power maximum for that port. So the thing with PoE, if you start to get a lot of devices, you can easily take this 100-watt budget on this device and overshoot it. Especially if they're, not just simple nodes or wireless access points that are, pulling 6, 7, 10, 15 watts. You start grabbing something like I've got our overhead camera in the studio, camera 3, which is, we'll go to it. And, it's a full-on camera from Bird Dog that powers over PoE, but it uses, more power. Let's actually go see how much power it's using. So if we go ahead to the, where is it? To the ports page. Actually, I think I got to do it in CLU. No, I go to switch. No. System, device, status. It's under here somewhere. I've seen it before. Oh man, there is a page where you can see what everything's pulling, and it's really cool. That being said, I can't find it right now. But you can set each port up separate. You can set up your VLANs, so you have A, B, C, D, E, F, and then a trunk. Okay. And then you can set the color for each type. So this is like so easy to set up. I think that's the biggest thing, is you can have all these different VLANs. They can have DHCP servers, or you can turn it off and manually set your IP addresses. And, multicast is available, is supported. So IGMP snooping right there. You can set that up if you need to. For most people, you really don't want to touch this stuff. And then there's also QoS, which is cool because you can actually set that to optimize your Dante traffic on your switch if you're running Dante as well as other protocols through it, perhaps on different VLANs. Okay, you can have it optimized for your Dante, and then it will always make sure that Dante is performing as best as it can. On the home screen, there we go. It's actually not a tab, it's the home screen. So I bet if I click on the Netron, it'll take me there. There it is. That's where we see all of our port data. So this is so stinking cool because I can see here all of my ports. I can see what all is plugged into them, what rate the device is going at, if it's gigabit or not. And then I see if it's got PoE and how much it's pulling at that exact moment. So this camera right now, that's our overhead cam, you see what it's pulling at all times. You see the total and whether that's within what you can do, if you're getting close, if you're not, etc. So if I had to sum it up, the NS8 is really cool for a couple of reasons. The first is that it's rugged, it's built for our industry, entertainment built. It has the actual true or EtherCon connectors and true one on it so that you don't have weird patch panels with cords that can break. You aren't adapting down to regular RJ45s and just to make it into your network device. You can truly build a network on a show site or an install that is 100% EtherCon, no adapters, no barrels, no nothing. So that's like the first plus. The second is, it's rugged, clamp mount, rack mount, wall mount, DIN mount, however you want to mount, it pretty much can do it. Number 3 is there's a healthy PoE budget. So you can plug in a good amount of PoE stuff for an 8-port switch and be off to the races. Number 4 is that price. Like if you look at other managed switches that have EtherCon plugs that allow you to do VLANs and all that stuff, there's none of them in this price range that are worth their weight and easily configurable and all that stuff. So between all that, that's really why the NS8 is a winner. It just does a lot really well. It's simple to use. And it really, it really doesn't overcomplicate things, I think. And that's always been the secret of Obsidian, is that you can get up, you can get going. People that really don't know networking can get going with this thing pretty quick and build up a show network. Is it essential for you to use if you're building a show network? I mean, you can use regular switches all day long, but at the end of the day, like there are other kind of AV industry switches that don't have the Ethercon ports that are kind of in the same price range and, you know, not as rugged, not as well built, not having that internal power supply. Like when you kind of add it all up, there's just so many pluses here that I think these are just really cool. And if you are doing a lot of networking and or you're continuing to, for your live events, it's definitely worth a look. With something like an NS8, it really bridges the gap so that it's not like, oh man, there's this one guy on site who knows enough about networking to set things up. It's like, no, you know, the lighting guy, you can put one in his package, he can use it. The audio guy can use it. We can put multiple teams together, and they're really pretty easy to configure. So if you want to see more about the NS8, check it out over at our store. Of course, we would love to get you one. They're awesome. They're really cool. If it meets your needs, for some people, you don't need this. That's totally cool. But whatever you need, Above AVL and Learn Stage Lighting Gear, we are your place to get it. So come check it out. If you need anything else, if you're just interested in Onyx, hey, subscribe here. We've got more videos about Onyx, about product reviews on our various channels, and we would love to see you on all of them. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.